Small Business. I'm Adam Sonnhalter.
And I'm Jack Mencini with Maximum Value Partners. We're business coaches and we can help you get unstuck. And Marcia is with us today and she's telling a lot of stories about people getting stuck. And we can help those mistakes that you do make. We can help you avoid them. We can help you work through them. That's what we do.
That's right. So we're in our last segment here with Marcia Pledger, with the business reporter with Plain Dealer. We're talking about her long-running column, My Biggest Mistake, and how I fixed it, and the book that came out of that as well, and the 450-plus entrepreneurs she talked to. She shared some very good stories with us today. We want to hear a few more of those here before we have to end our show. And a couple of things we're talking about during the break is, we get stories, Marcia, that people won't believe.
Yeah.
They say, people aren't really doing that kind of stuff. So I gotta believe you probably had a few of those. Maybe you even chose not to write write articles about people because they, this can't be right, in terms of what people are telling. So you have those things where people you're telling somebody the story, maybe you're telling your editor about it, they say, "Come on, Marcia, that can't be right. That can't be true." You have any of those kind of stories?
For the most part, people. I wish I had more to tell you in terms of rejection of me. That I guess what I'm trying to say is that more people. I didn't have a problem finding good stories, but some of them were so crazy, like every once in a blue moon, you'd have somebody say, you just obviously a ploy for attention, my own biggest mistake was I wasn't didn't share how great I am as an attorney sooner. Oh, come on, really. But I actually...
That sounds like what an attorney would say.
That's a good example.
You can't exactly write something that crazy, Right. But at the same time, I actually did write one story like that, and it only worked because he was an artist. So his mistake was, only one, his mistake was not leaving corporate America sooner to become an artist. And it did work because everyone's heard of a starving artist. And, now, he's doing something like an American Greetings or some type of company like that, and just not trying to stretch. And the first time he tried to stretch, he didn't have the best art form. But now he's huge. He's international. I was in Hawaii. I saw his stuff. Right. It's Woodrow Nash. He's amazing. So yeah, every once in a while, something might sound a little crazy. But
it's a hard thing for people to do. It's taking that step. We talk about you're kind of on that ledge. You're looking down into the dark abyss, and if you take that step into being in business for yourself. What happens? Well, you may go in that dark abyss and it's not, it's a 2-foot fall, or maybe it's a bigger, who knows? But once you take that step, but most people will talk themselves out of it, or they'll delay and delay and delay. And at the end of the day, one of the things I learned early on in my career is the whole idea of having a job is not as comforting as everybody kind of thinks, because people can end that job pretty quickly with no necessarily good reason to say, "Gee, sorry, we have to let you go." Okay.
Exactly.
Then you're done anyway. So
exactly.
So, I think a lot of folks we've talked to have been kind of accidental entrepreneurs like that, where they've kind of been, I've been kind of cut back here, this happened, but it's usually like, but hey, I always had an idea for this, or I've been kind of messing with this on the side. So it's a kind of kick in the butt that they kind of needed to kind of get them going, So.
But most people still don't want to share almost the big mistake. I don't care if it's a happy end in the end. It felt like I started my career covering crime, and not to sound like some old jaded reporter, but I'm just going to tell you, when you cover crime and you've seen as many homicides and brutality, just all kind of negativity, bank robberies, and the list goes on and on. Casino robbery, I was in Vegas. It's like in the end, it felt like everyone started to sound alike. Like either you interview someone after a crime, and then you go, he was the nicest man, or I always knew he was crazy. It was some version of that. You know what I'm saying? And so similar to my biggest mistake, what I tended to get was when I asked someone to share, either if I wasn't totally rejected, or like, you're crazy. Well, you can't want my neighbors or my people to know this. If I didn't get totally rejected, I would get people they would say, "Oh, wow, my biggest mistake. I don't know, I made so many. Which one?" Or it would be so devastating that they would, they'll know it off the top of their head.
Yeah.
But they didn't necessarily still want to share. They might go with their second or third biggest mistake, because their truly biggest mistake might involve a best friend, or a relative or something. So.
Yeah, they want to protect the
they start thinking about it like they never have before, real quickly, and so they don't want to come out with that. Yeah. Could be devastating.
Well, it's a tough question to ask. I think my guess is especially when you're writing, I'm sure you probably get it still now. People will recognize you in the column and kind of talk about it. I think people look forward to seeing it, and had fun kind of seeing it. Part of it is again because they probably made a lot of the same kind of mistakes or versions of it, so they kind of see themselves. So I'm guessing as you kept writing it probably got a little easier for people to kind of see because you
It did get easier,
credible.
but it was never. The only mistake that I intentionally wrote about every single year was partners.
Okay.
And that's I don't know how you guys feel. You've seen a lot, but for me, it's like a marriage. You probably see that person actually probably more than your spouse.
Oh, yeah.
In a business.
You do, yeah.
And there are so many takes on partners' mistakes. So many. So that was the one. I just think that's one of the
Partners
quickest. A bad
usually-
partner can kill
yeah.
a business quicker than anything.
That's right. And partners usually have bad names. I mean, people don't necessarily have good stories to say about partners. That's what we find. And so we stand out being
You guys making
business
it work
partner
15
years.
There's this thing people say.
Longer than most people are married.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
People say it's kind of like with your dog, you start looking alike. Same thing happened with the partners, right? What do you think? You kind of start looking alike, Jack and I. I had hair when he and I first started doing this,
That's matching.
so that's what happened over the years
That's
too.
what happens.
Yeah. So it's something you got a ton of fun doing it. My point is, people probably saw you as being very credible.
Yeah.
Knowing that you had the right intention in mind, because people will often be suspect if somebody's coming in, a reporter like, what are you poking around for? What are you looking to do? You're probably getting a lot of credibility with people that
it did help after you did it for a while, but the bottom line is it's still hard to share. I had literally been doing that column. Initially, it was every week, and then it went to bi-weekly because it was doing other things and all. And it's not easy to find people to share still, And it's and I remember one. I didn't even realize it, but a few years had passed, and I had, even though some of those businesses that I talked to were family-owned businesses, none of them would share a mistake that involved working with family. None of them. They would tell me about finance mistakes, marketing mistakes, growth mistakes, all kind of mistakes, you name it. But then finally, I thought, I suck. I got to get somebody to share a family mistake. So finally, I just made it a mission. And I just started asking people, you do understand. I was kept the column going, but I was like, I was determined to do a series, a month-long series on family-related mistakes. And I remember the first guy I asked, he owned a big talent agency, and his employment agency, and his father started 50 years earlier. It was a long-time company, and. So I was like, hi, Marcia Pleasure, business writer, play theater, blah, blah, blah. Trying to build up, have you heard of my column, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah. Well, does Find Your Dad count? That'll do it.
You got it. I want to hear about that one, right?
Yeah,
okay.
So that was not easy. So I've heard a lot, but, I think it does help, because there's not many, as you know well, as business advisors, there's just not many places where people feel comfortable enough as a small business to share and learn from each other, unless it's some, chamber meeting or some in-house, some kind of safe place.
Yeah.
So that was an
It's the safe place. That's the key.
Yeah.
And it had to be hard for you. It had to, to get people to own up to their biggest mistake.
Yeah. I had one guy call me. I literally never got people to call me. I don't care how many entrepreneurs I interviewed. I probably got a few every year that actually someone actually called me. It was not easy. But one day, one of those calls, it's actually a friend now, but I didn't know him then. And he owns a big tech company, data center, and downtown Cleveland. And I remember he called me, and he's like, hey, I want to share a mistake if you're interested. I got to tell you, I've been reading your column for years, but I always thought in the back of my mind, who the hell would share some of this stuff? He's like,
Here I am calling you, right?
Yeah, but he called me, and I was like, but the only reason he called me because he was so upset about a mistake that almost killed his business, and he had fixed it, and he thought it would do some good to others.
That's true. The work I think comes from people want to help. That's one of the beauties and one of the things that Jack and I really love about the small business world. It has that heart and soul to it that you often don't see more in the bigger companies. And so I think it truly comes. People want to help out. Your point, if they're volunteering, even if they, it wasn't a family story, anything to be able to kind of put out there. It's one thing to put it in a small group of friends or folks who or just kind of stay in that room kind of thing. It's another thing to kind of get it where it's out in print. People kind of know about it. People can read about it. Even if they have a sense of it, also you're kind of putting it out there. It's
well,
tough
people
to do.
don't want to be judged. And if you think about it, especially in this day and age with social media, I mean, even we write stories and the comments are horrible. Next thing you know, they're fighting with each other. They go off tangent and it's ridiculous. So you gotta ignore that. But the bottom line is you really have to have a greater purpose of sharing.
Do you get a lot of comments from readers?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, maybe we can do that for another show. Unfortunately, we're coming to the end. We're down to the end of our show.
We'd love to have you
a very
again,
very
definitely.
fast hour.
Thanks for
I
having
appreciate
me.
you joining us here today, Marcia. Those of you trying